Hello, good morning. We're starting out in the cold room today. I don't give a tour of this place because it's just a mess. I don't have the shelves straightened up. There's 3 deep freezers here. The one that you're on is empty, but I've got the meat in this little apartment size one. Got a full bucket of seeds here, and this is a 35-liter bucket, I think it is. That's my containers of seeds, and that's my packets of seeds. Plus there's neon pumpkin, baby pan pumpkin, vegetable marrow. In here, this was pretty much full. I've got all the grape seed. I've been making apple juice and apple cider. Over here, remember the 55 kilograms of tomatoes I picked? Most of them were green when I picked them, but they ripened up off the vine. I have 35 or 38 kilograms here in the deep freeze. I can't remember which. And of course I was eating some as they're getting ripe, so I don't know exactly how many got ripe. Some of the green ones did just sit there and go bad. But I'm going to bring a bag up now and start processing them. Same as with the apples, of course, you put them in the bag whole. But with these, I put them in a container in the fridge and pre-froze them before I put them in the bag. To make sure that they would be all individual when I went to get them out. When you freeze them, you see I've got a slit cut, one that way and one that way. Now I've seen other people do that, and they said when you thaw them out it'd be easy to take the skins off, but that's not the reason I did this. If I had put them in without making a cut in the skin, then when these thaw out, I've got a bag of water. Found that out the hard way. So what I want to do, I mean these are icy cold now, is leave these here and let them thaw out. Remember the apples, when you do this, let them thaw out just like this, so you get fruit flies like crazy. I wonder if that will happen with tomatoes. And I guess we're going to find out, eh? You just need to put, I'm going to put a cover on them, like so, and leave them there and let them thaw out. So I will process them tomorrow. So we've let this thaw overnight now. I don't take the cores and skin off because I don't think it's necessary. See, there's still some water left in them. Down there, that's a very weak tomato juice now. Remember, this is a very fine screen I have in here. So the next step is to blend them up. just go that far. I'll pour that over in there. And then keep doing batches until I get them all done. Now they're all done, so I'm going to pour this back in here. I won't be pressing this because I want to keep as much of the tomato in the up in the bowl as possible, but I do want some of the excess water to drain off. It's right now, it's 8:40 Christmas morning. I don't know how long I'll leave that sitting there. I will, of course, put the cover on it to keep any flying critters from getting in there. And we'll be back later when we decide it's dripped enough. Now we've had this cooling for draining for a few hours. You see, you basically got the same consistency as you would if you were getting crushed tomatoes in the store. I'll put that over there. And this is the tomato juice, a weak tomato juice that drained out of it. I'm going to make a fish-based soup, and I'm going to use that for the liquid base for my soup. I'll boil the fish in that and then make sure I strain out all the bones and do my fish soup. Now I clean the bottles and I store them with lids on, so for the most part they are very clean. I still put them in a sink full of hot water and give them a final rinse before I put the stuff in them. Remember, this was 2.5 kilograms of tomatoes, so we'll see how many bottles, 500 ml bottles, we get out of 2.5 kilograms of tomatoes. Only 3 bottles, not even 3 bottles. for that reason, I'm going to put them in the fridge and do up another batch, can them after I get a second batch done. In fact, I'm going to take out 2 bags of tomatoes and do those so that I'll have a full canner full of tomato puree. Just as a note, this is how much liquid we drained out of the tomatoes. That would be 3 quarts right there. 3 liters total, 3 quarts. So it's just a little less than 3 quarts of liquid. Most people, they will boil that off, which is fine. You'll get all of the tomato flavoring that's in this would remain in your tomato puree, but you would also use an awful lot of electricity boiling this off. So I did 2 more bags of tomatoes. I was putting 2.5 kilograms in each bag. So the first bag gave me less than 3 bottles. The next 2 bag gave me more than 7 bottles. I have a little bit left over there, but it's probably half a cup or something. That, of course, it depends on the type of tomato, right? Some tomatoes are juicier than others. And 4 liters of juice drained out of the tomatoes. I could have put a cover on like I did with the apple cider and press more water out of this, but I was going for a similar consistency to what you would get if you bought the crushed tomatoes, can of crushed tomatoes in the store. So that's what I was going for, so that's why I didn't press water out. If I pressed it out, I could have pressed it right down to tomato paste, right? So let's take an empty bottle and tear that out to 0. And then we can say it's approximately 414 grams per bottle. And we have 10 bottles. So 4.15 kilograms. 4.15 kilograms of crushed tomatoes, basically. Let's see how much this weighs. It says 3 pounds, 1.7 kilograms. We'll have to take off a little bit for the jug. So let's do this. 1.9 kilograms. And we got 164. So 1.75 kilograms. Thereabouts. So 1.72 kilograms. 1.5 kilograms. So 1.57 kilograms. 3.25 kilograms. Somewhere around there. I mean, I might be having my math completely off here, but a little over 3 kilograms of juice and then a little over 4 kilograms of crushed tomatoes, which is right. Like I said, 2.5 kilograms in a bag, so 3 bags would make 7.5 kilograms. Now we're going to water bath can them. I just put a bit of water in there so that I can turn on the burner on the stove. That's what I can fit. Now I have to put enough water in to cover them. See, the way I say about putting the bottles in the contents is cold and then the cold water, this can't come to a boil until the contents in those bottles are at boiling temperature. And then you can boil it for your 10 minutes or your half an hour or whatever the recipe you're using calls for. And I don't think that's the cover to that pot. Wonder what I got done with that cover. I know what I got done with it. I was trying to get the greasy surface that was building up on it off. So I had some cleaner soaking on it. Yeah, the 2 bottles left there. I'm going to do another recipe, so I'm just going to seal these and we're going to do a recipe with those 2. I heard a pop. I said, that don't sound good. And a little while later, I smelled the tomato. Whoa. Blew the top off one of the bottles. I'll take out the other bottles now and see what damage is done to the one that blew the top off. Interesting. Now this is what that's looking like now. I'll see what it's like when it cools, of course. Okay, so that's a learning curve. You see I have that one where that extra liquid all siphoned out of it. But as for the bottle that blew its top, it didn't break. Just blew the top right off the bottle. So now that's an interesting thing. There's the ring. And there's the lid undamaged. So when it started to boil, it must have just vibrated back and popped off. So now, like I said, this is the first time me doing this, so I'll do the one batch. And since I had that issue, I'll leave that for a little bit and see how they store in the pantry, and then I'll process some more later. So this didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I think I put in too much material in, and this one's siphoning all the extra liquid siphoned out of it. But even without the extra siphoning, I end up with this, which of course doesn't look that great. The stuff inside is just still perfectly fine because I just did it yesterday. So I'm going to have to do some more research and watch a few videos to figure this out. So this will be tomato puree. They all sealed except for that one. And this one, of course, blew its top. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out and try again someday. But right now, I'm going to make some ketchup.